Hey guys, it's Pablo the Cobbler back with another video. I'm super excited for today's project because we're working on the Canadian icon Viberg boots. These are built like tanks, one of the best boots on the market. So let's take these babies apart and start our custom resole. So our customer wanted to change the look on these boots. They're actually a brand new pair, never worn, but he's not digging the wedge sole style. So we're going to take off the wedge sole, take off the rubber midsole, remove the welt, put on new welts, leather midsoles, a Ridgeway rubber sole, a leather heel stack, and a rubber heel. So we're going to convert this from a wedge style to a heeled style. So the reason I sanded the sole here was to cut the stitches where the welt and the sole were stitched together. The bond between the rubber sole and the leather welt is so strong that I can't get a knife in there to cut the stitches in between. So I got to go on the outside, cut the stitches on the sole, and then pluck the stitches on the welt. Now if you look here, you'll see a longer stitch, and then right here you got really short stitches. So there's a little bit of inconsistency with the stitch length on the outsole stitching here. And also you got a 270-degree welt, which ends here, and then you have a leather heel rand that's glued and nailed to the sole. So the stitching continues all the way around the heel rand. So that kind of gives aesthetically not the nicest look. So we're going to do a new welt because we want consistent stitch length, and also we want to do a 270-degree stitch versus the 360-degree and just give a cleaner, sleeker finish. So Viberg does such a good job with their gluing on everything. I can't just peel this rubber sole off, so I have to use my heat gun to warm everything up and soften the glue, and then I can take this rubber midsole off. Let's see how we do now. Here's the inside. We have a piece of foam as the filler on the cavity here. We have a nice heavy-duty steel shank. And a lot of shoes that are welted like this with a leather welt are Goodyear welted with a piece of gemming that's glued to the footbed and then stitched through the upper into the welt. In this case, we have a hold-fast construction, which is superior to the traditional Goodyear welt construction because the footbed is carved here, and then the flap is lifted, and then that kind of creates the gemming aspect. And I have a piece of gemming here. So this is how a traditional Goodyear welt is constructed. So this gemming is just glued to the footbed, and then this is stitched onto the welt in the upper. So this is a far superior and stronger construction. So I'm really happy to see this in a pair of Vibergs, but I'm not surprised because, again, these are built like tanks. All right, let's take this old welt off. Sometimes it comes off easy, sometimes you got to work at it. That is the plastic wrap that goes around the shoe when it's at the factory being made. So it covers the entire shoe so it doesn't get any marks or stains. And then when they're done in the production line, they'll cut the wrap, it'll fall off the shoe, and then sometimes little pieces remain hidden beyond the welt. So we'll take that off now. And when resoling a pair of shoes, you would want to clean, polish, whatever at this point when the welt's off. But since these are brand new, there's not much to do. So we'll start the welting process next. All right, so we're going to do a natural flat welt on these boots. So I just want to put a little bit of wax to protect it and give it a bit of a finish. Well, it's time to get the welt hand sewn onto this boot. And this is an aged bark rough out leather from Seidel. Seidel is a very cool company, tannery in the States. So this leather is not mass produced, and I think that's why my customer jumped on this. This little groove in the welt is where I'm putting my needle into. Then I'm going through the hole on the upper, and then through the hole that's been cut into the footbed. And then everything is stitched together by this very heavy-duty wax thread. All right, guys, I want to explain to you some TV magic that we do here. Instead of boring you with this welting and a couple other gluing things, I'm going to tell you the next steps, but not show you. So after the welting's done, we install these steel shanks. I'm using my own shanks because these ones come taped in fabric, so they bond better and they prevent squeaking. Then we're going to upgrade from the foam filler that came with the boot to a cork filler. Cork filler is longer lasting and it molds to your foot better, so it actually makes it more comfortable long term. This is the new leather heel rand that we're going to splice into the welt for the back. We have a leather midsole that we are upgrading from the rubber midsole, and then this is the Ridgeway rubber sole. So when everything's put together, you're going to get this. So I went ahead and I started this shoe. So we have our welting done, we have our heel rand, we have our leather midsole, our steel shank is on the inside, the cork filler's in there, and our Ridgeway sole is ready to be sanded down a little bit, made flush with the edges, and then we can hop on our outsole stitcher and stitch everything together. A little more sanding. All right, guys, that wraps up this project. We transformed these badass Viberg boots from a wedge sole to the beautiful Ridgeway soles and rubber heels to match. New welts, leather heel stack, leather midsole. These boots don't cut any corners, they are premium grade, and if I ever save enough money, I'm going to buy myself a pair. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.